Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Champagne Wives podcast. I'm your host, Kelly.
And I'm your co-host, Nicole. Hey, Kels.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing good.
Good. All right. Feels good to be back in the
It
studio.
is good to be back.
And
We've been out for about a week or two.
it's been like 2 weeks. There's
Okay.
been a lot of activity that's
A
been going
lot.
on.
Yeah, so much stuff that's happening that we're so proud of.
I know, and so excited to share.
Yes.
But there's probably one thing that we can share.
What?
'Cause I feel like by the time that this gets out, like, our followers feel like it'll be out.
Welcome to all of our new followers. Let's just say
Welcome.
that.
Welcome. We're so glad
We're
you're
so
here.
glad you're here.
So glad you're here.
Thank you to Cruise Season too. Our collaboration with Cruise Season was everything. And we're so appreciative of the guys and the conversation. Like the conversation was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've said this probably too many times, but I really appreciated just the fact that, there's another podcast giving a male perspective, really elevating. Elevating the conversation.
My last time, well, no, this Kim. Okay.
But elevating the conversation around relationships.
Around relationships. And it's so cool to hear like a male's perspective because all of the guys are either in relationships or married. And so, having their unique perspective along with ours was very enlightening and entertaining.
Right.
At the same time.
Very entertaining. And I would say, yes, very enlightening. Let me just top you off here. And didn't think that it was going to be what it was, that it was going to pop off the way that it did. Like reels over 10,000, some close to 30,000 from content that
those guys are doing their damn thing, girl.
Oh my gosh!
And so we get comments from like commenters, like I'm here from Cruise Season. Hey y'all, like Cruise Season sent me.
Yes, Cruise Season sent me here. Cheers, love.
Cheers, babe.
Well, again, to all of our new followers, welcome to the Champagne Wives podcast. And we are so excited that you're here. We're so excited to continue having amazing dialogue about relationships, about the things, all of the things. We don't want to give all the upcoming episodes away. But, okay, so let's talk about today's episode because there are there was pretty recently an Instagram post that someone posted about NLE Choppa, right? Is that his name?
Good job.
Good job. And polyamory, right?
Yeah.
I think he had a tweet or something like that where like he and his girlfriend are having issues or in the midst of issues because like he wants to continue to have relations with people other than his girlfriend outside of his relationship. And so thought it would be good for us to have a conversation today just about the topic and concept of polyamory. Has been called a lot of things. Yeah. An open relationship, potentially cheating. There are people who might be in polyamorous relationships that don't even know that they're in polyamorous relationships.
But don't you have to know and sign off to be in a polyamorous relationship?
So interesting because maybe, but like I saw something on the internet that said, if you are not exclusive with someone, then technically you're in a polyamorous relationship. Is that the case? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have the definition, but to me,
a polyamory.
Well, I know it's like multiple like people in one situation, but to me, you have to have like an agreement between the people that you are with in order for it to be a polyamorous relationship. If you don't have the agreement, then to me, it's just cheating.
So you know me, I love a good definition.
See, I should have known. You had me.
I love a good definition, just to level set us. So polyamorous or polyamory is defined as, if you're polyamorous, it's defined as a person who is romantically or sexually involved with one or more partner. And the assumption is everyone is aware of each other.
So yeah, I was correct.
Yes, you were.
Okay.
You were.
Like I like to be right.
That's the assumption.
Okay.
Right? But again, go back to that social media post that I saw that said, if you're not exclusive and you haven't mentioned that specifically, you might be in a polyamorous relationship and might not know it.
And you might not know it. And that is cheating. And so I saw that as well.
If you don't talk about exclusivity, is that really cheating?
If you don't talk about exclusivity.
If you're dating around and dating multiple people.
But dating and being in a relationship are two different things. So you have to be in a relationship.
If you're in a relationship, I would imagine that the assumption is that you've talked about exclusivity.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're dating, no, that's not polyamory.
But that's what the tweet said. Technically, everyone who is dating and not in a committed relationship is in a polyamorous relationship, even if they don't subscribe to it.
That's just dating, child. That's just dating.
But by definition, if somebody has
read that definition one more time, because I didn't. Did it say specifically dating?
No, it didn't call it out, but it's defined. A polyamorous person is defined as someone who is romantically or sexually involved with one or more partner, and the assumption is everyone is aware of each other. So if it's a known fact that we are not exclusive, and I'm dating and you're dating other people, then technically it's a polyamorous relationship.
I guess you could say that.
I mean, that's not how I feel.
To me, it would have to be a relationship for it to be polyamorous. If you're single and you're just dating, then you're not committed to anyone, and you don't have to explain that you're dating, right, to the people that you're dating. But if you're in a relationship, you definitely have to explain. Yeah, I'm gonna be messing with this person on the side and that person on the side. Are you okay with it? Can we all come together and just kind of like accept one another for what the relationship is? Which brings me to another point. And, this kind of came up on cruise season, and the guys said that, basically that Black men are outnumbered by Black women. And so because of that.
Because of polyamory?
No, not because of polyamory, but because Black men are outnumbered by Black women, that Black women specifically need to be open to other types of relationships, right? And, polyamory being one of them. Okay. So I don't necessarily, I do feel like, from a statistics standpoint, when you think about the number of single women and single men, and when you start to kind of get into the grittiness of like good single men compared to quality single men.
Are we going to stay away from the concept of high value? Quality over quantity. Are we staying away from the concept of high value?
Exactly. That part. Okay. So,
maybe later.
I think, yes, maybe that may be the case, specifically maybe in some certain areas, right? However, I don't feel like that is a viable alternative. I feel like as Black women, because they made the point that like Black women don't want to date anybody else but Black men. And I feel like that boxes us in. Yeah. So I feel like, okay, so if there's not enough viable Black men or quality Black men available for Black women, then Black women should consider dating outside of their race. Right. And so I just don't want to be pigeonholed, Black women to be pigeonholed to accepting any type of whatever situation because there aren't enough of good Black men.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of that sounds like Kevin Samuels, remember we talked about his short list and that last one, get with the program. Right. It literally sounds like get with the program, i.e. whole lot of women, not a lot of men. And because the math doesn't work in women's favor, they have to be willing to compromise on certain standards and expectations maybe that they have for their relationship with their partner. Yeah. And they have to be willing to get with the program if they want a high value man.
If they want a high value. So again, example, Nick Cannon. So his baby mother, one of his baby mothers, Abby De La Rosa, also did a podcast, and she talks about their relationship. She talks about how all the women are, knowledgeable of what's going on. Right. They're accepting of it. They love it. It's not like, he is, being disrespectful. Hiding, exactly. And it's just something that they all just kind of fall in line with because of whatever their reasons are. Right. I can name like a couple that I think in my mind. The
Coin
reason is.
Probably being
exactly, probably number one. But I mean, you see it happening more and more every day.
You do. And the fact that Nick Cannon is really trying to normalize like polyamory is crazy. Like Nick from like Nickelodeon, right? In his shows. Like it's just wild. Yeah. But I do believe that, at the end of the day, Nick Cannon's reasons, the ones that I've heard, I get it. Like he loves kids, he loves a big family, like he loves women, and so he's able to operate honestly, authentically, and communicate in that way with the various people that he has in his relationship, that he's in these relationships with. And
But when did he feel like this? Because when old boy was married to Mariah Carey, he didn't have this energy. Like, it just seemed like it came from out of nowhere.
Right. And maybe that's why Mariah left him.
But is it always in you? Are you trying to? That's one thing. That's a question.
Ooh, finish the question.
A person who wants to be free.
Yeah.
And be polyamorous and have multiple women or significant others in a relationship. Is that something that is just innately in you, a part of you that you kind of, I don't know, like tame to be with one person to make that compromise?
So excited because we're like going into my bullets.
I'm just saying, like, am I? Yes, or like, is it, I don't know. Like, or I don't know. I think that it's like the 80-20, right? Like in a relationship, like you can get 80% of what you want from a person.
Right.
But that 20%, it just burns certain people to have.
Right.
And people do a lot for that 20%.
For that
20%.
Yeah, we'll kick down doors.
Girl. Well, that's 20%, bitch. Let me tell you.
That's 20%.
They will throw it all away for 20%. So I'm just saying, like, if you have that desire, I think a lot of people have that desire to be free, in the words of NLE Chopper, and be free spirited and spread themselves around and have multiple women and have them all agree with it. But most people, I feel like, hide it for a variety of reasons. One being embarrassment, one being, like I said, wanting to, be in a committed relationship and make their partner happy, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Agreed. So there's a lot that you've said and a lot to unpack. Yes. And we don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to try to do it the best that I can.
You got this, sis.
So one of your questions was, is polyamory, is it in you? I would say yes, absolutely. If you go back to just anthropology, if you look at, like, if you talk to anthropologists, they will tell you there's a species, and, obviously as humans, we have origins in primates, right? So that's a whole conversation that I know people will want to jump on when they see the video on YouTube. But we have our origins in primates, right? And so the bonobos are a primate that all they do literally is go around and have sex with each other. And there is a lot of footage out there of bonobos literally just like saying hi, and a male comes up from behind to a woman, has his moment, and he goes. And then he goes to another woman and he picks the bugs off of her and he eats them. And then he beeps her and goes to the next one. And this is all they do. All they do. The women, the female bonobos go to the males, and the males go to, they exchange, whatever.
It's just all around.
Right.
Okay.
And so you think about that, and they say, like, that honestly is at its origins kind of the way that humans are. Like, we are not necessarily designed, and you go back even to Africa, right? Before pre-slavery, how African men from most of West Africa had multiple wives. Yeah. And it wasn't until we got over to the US, not by choice, and got to the Western world and saw how monogamy was the way that things were supposed to be. And so there are a lot of arguments that, like,
it's not natural.
Yeah. And so I don't know, like, I would say society has forced our thinking to think that it's natural and forced our hand in a lot of cases.
Society or the Bible? Like, does the Bible,
you go back to the Bible, David, Solomon, they had multiple women.
Oh, did they?
Multiple women. Now, I am not a theologist, so.
You sound like one, child.
I'm not a theologist, but I know.
You sound like one right now.
Very wise, and well-renowned people in the Bible. Solomon and David had multiple wives.
Okay.
And so monogamy is, depending on where you are in the Bible, is not really spoken of. You see more conversations around, make sure you take care of your wives, plural, right? And so the question is it one, is Jesus, is God speaking to one person, or is Jesus speaking to
so people can interpret that the way that they want to. What is suitable, whatever is suitable to them.
Completely subjective.
Okay.
But going back to the NLE Chopper comment, this is what I am believing around like not polygamy, but like polyamory. Because I think, polygamy, I don't know, that
like
word has
sister
it
wives?
has a negative connotation. Like it has me in Utah, Mormons, all that stuff, right?
Okay.
Shout out to the Mormons. But the comment that stuck out to me when I was doing a little bit of homework around this is letting your soul resonate. Like polyamory is allowing your soul to resonate with more than one person and to understand this whole human experience. So human experience is about giving love, creating love, promoting love. And that doesn't always necessarily exist with one person, right?
Yeah.
Because you give love, you share love with family. You give love, you share love with friends. And sometimes that shows up in a romantic way. Sometimes it shows up in a completely platonic way. But I think if human beings could have their druthers, I do believe that a lot of humans would want to operate in more of a polyamorous way.
Yeah.
And there would be far less cheating, far less clandestine activity that's happening.
If people were just
allowed to
be free,
socially allowed to be free, right? And polyamory, a lot of people think about it as like just being a sexual thing, and it's not. It's not a sexual thing.
Well, it's not right.
Solely,
so it's solely
sexual. Yeah.
Right? It's like having a partner for that. And I saw something online. It was just like this woman had 2 husbands, and one husband was the husband who she did business with, who kept her grounded. Yeah. And then the other husband or partner, she was extremely passionate about. And, obviously that was her sexual partner.
Right.
Right. And so 2 different men served 2 different purposes. And the woman was happy as fuck. But can you imagine?
What? But can we talk about gender bias around this though?
Child.
But think about let's double click on what you just said, because think about gender bias associated with this. If a woman decides that she wants to have 2 husbands, is she a slut? Is she a hoe? Is she a freak?
No,
compared
to
if
compared to it was like euphoria. Really, like you have your person that you build with, and then you have the person who
that you're free with,
who sticks you down.
Girl.
Just like, who speaks to your inner soul, child. And
not your inner soul.
Yeah. So I just feel like a lot of times, like people compromise one for the other.
Yes. They do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. That's which is why, people chasing that 20 people who just settle in the 80, which is a lot. Settling in the 80 isn't a lot, but people who live in that 80 but still yearn for that 20.
Exactly.
So but I do want to go back to just the gender bias around it, because you are an enlightened woman, is how I would define you, right?
Thank you,
very open-minded and enlightened women.
Thank you.
So, the reality is, though, not everybody thinks the way that you do. Not everybody is as open-minded as you are. And
what you be open-minded, sis? Are you hitting a point? Are you trying to say because
I'm about to say that you're open to polyamory?
Okay, don't put me out there. Do not.
I am never.
Okay,
that's not your story.
What are you trying to say?
But I'm just saying that, if that's someone else's story, I don't think you'd be over here judging them. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. Is polyamory the same thing as opening up your marriage, having an open marriage? Because I absolutely have judged people who have had an open marriage both the husband and the wife agreed to see other people.
And so that would be
and so maybe that's why I'm trying to enlighten myself and trying to see what's up with this, because I mean there is a certain level of freedom that comes along with doing what you want to do. And sometimes I agree that being monogamous can be restrictive, specifically for people who are free-spirited and who do want to have those connections and experiences with other people. Right. And to your point, naturally, right, when you talked about the apes, I do feel that naturally, that is, the direction I feel like that man was going into, and then something changed, I don't know, in Western culture. Yeah. I've seen maybe jealousy, and I think a lot of it has to do with emotions, right? How the other person feels about their partner stepping out, or just like Annalise Chopper girlfriend, right? She agreed to the situation, what he said, as long as he took care of home. And then when push came to shove, child, them emotions was all over the place. She couldn't take her man being out there, giving his attention to other women, even if he was taking care of home. Because he said, my end of the bargain, I upheld. I took care of home 1,000%. But now she's trying to flip the script and won't allow me to go over here and have my peace.
Well, and maybe she was open to it. She was open to it before he became an elite chopper, right?
Doubt it.
And but maybe she was just open to it because she knew that was going to get him. And then all of a sudden now it's a bait and switch.
She switched the game, right?
It's a true
so
bait and
that's her
switch.
fault. Is that her fault? Or is
it's absolutely her fault because he went into, assuming he went into the relationship honest and transparently.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And said, this is what I need. These are my expectations. This is what I'm looking for. And if she was like, I align, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that, right.
But then all of a sudden she sees he's on the come up and sees how many women are probably flocking to him. And there's the opportunity for him to make stronger connections with another person. And then, she could end up right now being the main one, but not be the main one. And there's I did a lot of homework on the different types of relationships. And there's a whole hierarchical system in here.
Okay. So there's the main chick.
There's a main chick.
And there's the one who takes care of the kids. And then
Sister. That's how it was on Sister Wives.
The one that is the concubine.
If it's a throuple. If it's a throuple. Okay. In some, there's different types. There's V, there's quad, and then there's throuple. But V being the people in a relationship that someone's sexually involved with one or more person, but they're the other people don't know that they're a part of this open dynamic. Okay. And then there's the triad or the throuple, which is three people. So yeah, the main and then maybe the concubine. Okay. And then there's the quad. And the quad is
that four
people? So it could be two couples who come together or a throuple.
Girl,
that decided to add a fourth. I know.
So freaky. Why is this always so freaky?
There's rules to this shit. There's rules to this shit.
That's crazy. That sounds so a throuple. I could never. I will X the throuple out right now. Don't you bring you and your man to my house. We're not doing it. What we not doing?
I know.
Is a throuple situation.
But it's interesting to see what is happening now because the conversation around polyamory and Nick Cannon really bringing this to the forefront is it's kind of like what women are doing, right? As they think about the definition of what a high value woman is. We're putting it on its head and kind of spinning it around and not allowing society's definitions to really define what we think it is. Mm-hmm. And people are looking at polyamory based, again, on my research, but they're looking at it not necessarily exclusively as a sexual thing, but it's an opportunity to be very vocal and transparent and honest about your wants and your needs.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the main piece of it, to be honest and transparent, because I feel like that is what kills people's souls. You know what I mean? You feel like you can't be your true and authentic self, right? And say how you truly feel to your partner out of fear of hurting them.
Right.
Or out of fear of being embarrassed. And so that is my biggest takeaway from it. I just imagine people suffering, not being able to live in their true self, trying to fit into a box that society has created.
Yeah. And that's tough.
Yeah.
That is a real tough experience for people. And so as much as, I'll tell you, I know the question I'm going to ask you is if you were not married, would you consider
that was my
polyamory?
Question too.
So we'll get to that answer. But I can't even imagine what it's like living, great minds, living in a world, right? Or being in a relationship where you feel so restricted, where you can't speak up. And that's why we go back to season 2, where we talked about 20-something shenanigans and making sure that you are choosing the people that you surround yourself with, inclusive of your partner, with and you have a strong sense of discernment around that. Because if you are choosing somebody who you don't feel like you can be open and honest with and transparent with about your wants, your needs, your kinks, whatever the case may be, that's going to be problematic for you at some point during along that relationship.
Yeah.
And so
definitely,
I think that probably takes us back to, the quote that you sent me earlier today, right? Just around like, can't wait till like we normalize polyamory and like everybody who, kind of has been cheated on realizes that like, at the end of the day, this is what it's about. Like it's about being able to freely express yourself. And sometimes
Is that making an excuse for a cheating job?
Yeah.
I don't want to misconstrue. There's a difference between polyamory and cheating.
There is.
There's one word, agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Agreement,
that's it. Transparency.
That's
honesty.
transparency. Yep. That's it. That's the only thing that separates polyamory from just cheating. So we're not making excuses for cheating. No. But if two people go into a situation knowing that, that's going to be the case, then, let those two grown people do what they want to do. Sure.
Right. So to the question.
What?
Polyamory.
Uh-huh.
If you were not married, if you were single.
No, not for me.
Yeah.
I'm still too conservative, child.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm still too conservative. You know what? Girl, let me think. First of all, give me a minute. Let me chew on it.
Okay, have a sip.
Okay.
I have my answer.
You have your answer already?
Yeah,
okay.
I have my answer. So of the two of us, I'm probably the freer spirit.
Definitely.
But as it relates to polyamory and my willingness to engage in that, the short answer would be no.
Yeah.
I'm not evolved. I'm not as evolved as I'd like to be.
Yeah.
I am free, but I also, there is something special about being able to like find that one person. And the concept of soulmates, I believe that you have a lot of soulmates out there, right?
Yeah.
But like,
and I don't need both sexes. Like we talked about this before, like, my best friend, I feel like it's my soulmate.
Yeah. I thought this conversation was going to get a completely different direction.
We're not going in that direction. I'm just saying, like, a soulmate can be a male or female.
Platonic or romantic.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes, okay. And yes, it could be male or female.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay. Whew, I wasn't sure where this conversation was going. But I just know, like, as evolved as, like, I feel like I am, I'm not that evolved. And I just think that there is something very special about finding that person who you connect with. And who you can be as open, honest, and transparent with as your soul allows you to be.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that I would I want to know that what I'm giving you, I'm not giving anyone else. And I want to know that that is being reciprocated. And so that could be,
that's what makes a relationship special.
Yeah. The quality of like intimacy that we have, that could be the resources, that could be the eye contact, but I just want to know that there are things that are unique to me. And I get it, like in polyamory, like you have different people, and I'm not a subject matter expert here, but you have different people who you have those special things with. But, in my world, I feel like I would want to try and have as many of those special things with one person.
Mm-hmm. You know what? If I were single and approached with a situation like this, it would be one-sided. Like, I would be the one to have multiple partners. I would be like that lady. Like,
wait, what?
It would be me. I don't think I would be the one to have like the man go and have like multiple. I wouldn't be in a group with like a multiple women situation.
Oh, but you'd have a roster.
I would have like, multiple men.
If I were single, I would absolutely have a roster too.
That's the only way that it would work for me, child. And I don't know, that's probably very selfish.
Oh, so you would each have your own rosters?
No.
What am I missing?
He would be dedicated to me.
To you, but you'd be out there. I like that. I'm just
saying that's the only way it will work.
I like that.
If I had to do it, but
I mean, Mama always said, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket, child."
Exactly.
Until you know that basket.
That's the only way. I could not see myself being a sister wife. I can't.
Oh,
girl, I can't.
No. Mm-mm.
I cannot.
First of all,
doing that.
The main chick energy that I feel like I would give in a sister wife situation.
You would be in all kind of fights. Like you would be fighting every day.
It'd be dumb.
All kind of fights.
Dumb. So I don't know. So we're not subject matter experts. We don't claim to be on this. These are just opinions. And, maybe there's an opportunity later on in the season or maybe next season for us to bring subject matter experts.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Who might be a little bit more seasoned and experienced in this topic and knowledgeable.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah. But what I can say for me, and it sounds like for you, like, polyamory isn't the way for us. But if that's the way for you, hey, I love that for you. I really do. And
they love it. I mean, the people who are in it love it.
Yeah, I just say be safe, right? Because HIV is out here. Sexually transmitted diseases.
Did you see that article?
It's gross.
Yeah.
There's it's gross.
It's STDs. I'm like, girl, there's still got STDs out here. I feel out the game.
STDs are alive and popping.
Girl, they are alive and
popping. Like, I just don't understand how how this is possible.
In this day and age.
I don't get it. Like, I know they were teaching.
That's another thing. And there's so many layers. We're out of time, literally. But there's so many layers to pull back on this polyamory thing. And that sexual health is just one. And so, I mean, I would imagine everybody got tested. But I don't know. I just don't know how that works. And so, I think, to your point. Like,
no,
there's an
how is that working? Are we having sex at the same time? If we're a throuple, are we having sex at the same time? And are you in her? Are you in me? Like, who decides who catches
I hope that they show their papers before they do that.
No. Like, I mean, that has to happen. There has to be an exchange.
We would think as sensible people
results.
that they would be showing their papers, but child, you just don't know. You don't know. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But if there's an opportunity like to bring this back up again,
we need to
later this season or next season, would absolutely love to.
We need to. We need a
but we don't want
to
impose on Good Journey's time. So now we're going to bring in Good Journey to kick us off with what's poppin'. Welcome, Good Journey.
Hey, friends. Cheers. Okay, we've got top 3. We're going to talk about 2 cheaters and a really, really bad friend.
Oh,
let us begin.
Oh,
yes.
Let's get into it.
Our first cheater, this one's kind of hot off the presses. Are you guys aware? Okay, let me back up. I feel like every single Black person has this one white band that they really, really mess with.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like this one white band mine is Maroon 5.
From the 80s, 90s, or 2000s? Like,
in general.
In general.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to think about that.
Yeah, like your favorite white band, right? Mine is Maroon 5, songs about Jane. That was my ish in high school.
Yeah. Mine's NSYNC.
NSYNC is good. NSYNC is good.
I like, I don't even know.
Girl, what rabbit is she going to pull out of her hat?
I was very curious.
Don't make you laugh.
John B. What's he was on
He was a solo R&B
artist, like a solo R&B artist.
Okay.
Anyway.
So Maroon 5 was mine, and Adam Levine has recently been caught in a cheating scandal. He's cheated on his pregnant wife, Bahati Prinsloo. It's their 3rd child. And apparently he was caught with an Instagram model. And the worst part of it all, got him. And the worst part of it all, she shared the messages between the 2 of them. And in one of the messages, it was said that he wanted to name his 3rd child after this Instagram model.
What?
Now, personally, me would have burned the house to the ground. Bahati Prinsloo is going to stay, obviously, for obvious reasons, child. And not to say that she's like a gold digger, but this is her husband of 10 years.
Right.
They're 3 kids deep.
It's hard.
2.5 kids deep. And, you know, she loves him or whatever. But here's the thing.
Whatever.
This is a very famous rock star. Did anybody truly believe that he wasn't going to cheat on his wife?
Oh, 1,000%.
So,
but
I mean, why are we
actually, whoa. Before I say 1,000%, let me go back. He was known for being a playboy. Like Maroon 5's been around for like close to 20 years.
Yeah.
He was known for being a playboy.
He should have that shit
Sown his wild oats.
You
Right?
would think so.
But did you see his response? And he was just like, I'm so embarrassed. Child. It wasn't sexual. I just said inappropriate shit.
I crossed the line. No, because emotional cheating is still cheating, my guy. Like it's
is that emotional cheating or is that just like
I feel like it is
inappropriateness?
No, well, I think it's emotional cheating. There's something that Bahati he may have been missing from his wife, so he went outside to look for it.
Maybe excitement,
whatever it is. He went outside to look for it.
The fantasy of it all.
Maybe potentially, but you went to the worst place. You could have gone to a call girl. You could have gone to a lot of different places.
But I don't think he was trying to have sex. Well, maybe eventually.
They not.
Maybe he was just trying to see if he still had it. Like,
well, of course he still has it. He's a rich rock star.
He's on The Voice.
Yeah. Well, he's on The Voice. He's not anymore. Child.
I mean, for this season, maybe rotate him out like I rotate.
He's a very attractive man. He's a very attractive man.
I'll give him that.
I believe so.
So anyway, would you cancel him? Would he be like, if that was your husband? Think about it. Of 10 years,
and he was a
2.5 kids. And he was a famous singer.
lead singer of
like,
a multi-platinum band.
I don't know that I would leave, if I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I would leave. I think that it materially changes the relationship forever.
Yeah.
It can never go back the way. You can never put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's what I was trying to say to somebody
like that.
today.
Like men do stupid
They don't,
shit
right?
like
They don't think it through.
They
And now
don't.
it is what it is. And
he was living for the moment.
And the moment
He
is
was.
gone. And now your relationship.
And now you're exposed.
Correct.
Because you sent messages, private messages to an Instagram hoe.
basically
Who exposed your ass.
Well, damn.
Like, seriously, though.
Maybe we don't know the circumstances about this.
It don't matter what the circumstances are. You're
You're
married and you
married.
did something appropriate.
Right, no,
Look
but
at
Adam
that, you're
Levine,
very
absolutely.
passionate about it.
Very passionate about this subject.
Absolutely on Adam Levine's part. But I'm just saying on the count of the Instagram model who maybe thought that, like, I don't know, who the fuck knows. But
Well, she said she sent it to a friend, and her friend was trying to
'Cause she was starstruck.
her
Mhm.
for money, or like
That's no friends.
sell the photo of the snapshots for money. And so she tried to get ahead of it and just expose it herself.
these hoes ain't loyal.
I don't believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
CB.
Okay.
Always.
So wait,
But can I
okay.
just say one thing? Isn't it fucked up though that this, I don't know her name, the wife of Adam Levine.
Behati Prinsloo.
But isn't it fucked up though that like she, like there's nowhere for her to go and there's nothing for her to do other than to accept this?
Well, let's be very clear.
I mean,
Although
let's be
she
clear.
is pregnant, she was a Victoria's Secret model back when Victoria's Secret models.
There's somewhere for her to go, child. Now, is she going to
It's-
go? That's the question.
She's not
I
going to
don't know.
go.
She
but-
got 3 babies by this man.
And she's also very, very attractive and also very wealthy in her own right. So
Yeah.
she can go if she wanted
If
to
she
go.
How old is she? Do we know?
I have to
Well,
pull it
that's
up. She
the same
can't be
thing that
older than-
happened
oh,
with
she's
Robin
33.
Thicke.
Does she have is he like a Leonardo DiCaprio kind of?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not a creep.
She's
But
33.
that's the same thing that happened with
Robin Thicke.
Robin Thicke and his wife. And she
Yes.
was like, she was done. Like, he
yeah.
was caught.
Who?
Paula Patton.
Robin Thicke.
Oh, yes.
He was caught in the photo. Stupid ass. Didn't
He
even notice
was.
the mirror. He had his hands on a woman's
What an
ass, like
idiot.
a fan's ass.
What an idiot.
And it got exposed. And she was
Girl.
just like, goodbye. And
Bye.
But she probably had dealt with some shit before. This
Yeah, that
probably
wasn't the
just-
first
that was-
time.
Yeah,
Straw
this
that
was
broke
a
the
straw.
camel's
wasn't the
back.
first
Yeah,
time.
that was
Yeah.
a straw.
Okay.
I got
You ma-
feelings about Paula Patton, by the way. We can
like
talk about
her.
that another episode.
I don't have any feelings. I don't think about her at all.
I just feel like she was overexposed for a little bit.
Oh, she
Like
was
when
a
Robin
lot.
Thicke was actually, on
You mean
every.
overexposed.
I just feel like she got a lot
Way too
of
much
airtime, and she has no neck, and I just felt like she was awkward.
Did you see her frying that chicken?
Yeah, serving
You gotta
salmonella.
wash the chicken.
Serving salmonella.
Girl.
Girl,
E.
that
coli
fried
on a
chicken,
plate.
They went ham on her
Did.
on the internet.
The internet is ruthless as it relates to struggle plates.
Always.
You mentioned something about a bad friend, and I want to talk about bad friend. That was the other thing. So Erica Banks, who claims to be a rapper child, but I can't name not a single
I
song
said
of an
bad
Erica
friend or
Banks.
good friend, child?
Bad friend.
Bad friend.
That extorted the girl.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
So Erica Banks says that when she goes to the club, she only invites specific friends that fit a specific mold.
I get
I
that.
get it.
So you mean to tell
Why
me
you a bitch?
you guys are, first of all,
Yes.
And
I
you
used
were the
to-
mole
yes.
friend. That's why
I
you get
tell-
the invite.
But okay, so
No,
I'm a changed woman. I'm not as ruthless as I used to be, but back in the day, I used to be like, absolutely, this person can't come. I don't want, like, I don't want
back
want
in
that
the day,
aesthetic.
but you are that way today.
Right.
In
Okay.
this day and age.
Oh, you
Let's
know,
be very clear.
Last weekend.
You're trying to throw me under the bus.
Back in the day.
The bus.
I love this for you though,
I'm a
because
lot more calm now.
yeah,
Well,
but
I don't go out like
but
that
you're
no
more
more.
selective
No.
in your friend group too.
I am. My circle is small, and I do like a certain aesthetic when I go out. Sorry.
I do too.
But why? If this is your friend and you're close to them, they have your heart, you have theirs, you hold their secrets, they hold yours. Why should it matter what they look like?
Well, no, if it's like, it depends on what level friend. I'm sure she wasn't talking about sister level friend.
She was talking about her friends. She said that there's certain friends that go to the club, and then the other friends that I'm close with, they can go to the cookout, they can go to the house, but they can't come to me with the club. That's what she said.
Well, I'm on.
I mean, if I had a very close friend who I just feel like wasn't up to par, I wouldn't say that. Like if it were like a special occasion or something like that, like my birthday or something like that, I wouldn't say no to that. But in general, I maybe would not invite her.
But why? What's the thought process behind this?
Bitch, I need all of my bitches to be on TikTok.
What? I can't even cheers to this. But what?
I'm just saying.
What
if you hang
difference
out
does it
with,
make?
like, I want the whole crew to be lit. Like,
Why?
Not now, because back in the day, child. But I need my whole crew to be lit because I feel like it brings the average of the group down when you have someone who is not up to standard with the rest of the group. Now, I don't go out with a bunch of girls anyway.
Right.
But I feel like when I do go out with my 3, 4, whatever, maybe 5. That's a stretch. That's too much.
I ain't never seen it since that.
And never. But I'm just saying, like, I want there to be a certain standard because I feel like you are who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
And so.
But not physically.
Like,
first of all, let's take a quick pause. Because when we walk into a room, 5'9", 5'10", 5'11",
yes, but I could walk into a room with somebody 4'2" and the eyes are still going to be on me. That doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference.
But we're not talking about height. We're talking about how a person presents.
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how they present.
5'9", 5'10", 5'11".
But I'm just saying,
it's an aesthetic.
It's an aesthetic. But it's more to the aesthetic. Like you could have a friend who is shorter, but she's dressed really nice. She's fine. Like that's not the requirement. The requirement is the other things. Like how do you care? To Erica Banks' point, how is your hair? Is your hair done? Mm-hmm. What do you have on?
Wait a minute.
Like, how are you carrying yourself?
I understand her point, but what I'm saying is that if that's my friend, what she looks like has no dictation as to what, because I'm not going to lower my standards to look like her. I'm just going to look like me. And me going into anywhere.
Real conversation.
Yes. Wow. Me walking into anywhere.
I just feel like having somebody who's not up to par brings your average down.
That's subjective, though. What does up to par mean?
That's subjective. Right. So to her point, that's subjective. That's her opinion. This is mine. If you're not up to par with the group and how I want the group to look when we are out, then I'm not going to like an invited person. Like I'm not gonna go as far as Erica Banks brought it up. I would have never brought that would have been a dark little secret of life forever.
It would have been like
that would have been a dark little secret of life forever.
It would have been a text full of emojis.
Nobody would have ever known.
To Erica's point, she posted this in her close friends and somebody leaked it. So she felt the same way that you did.
I'm just saying, like, I agree. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't go out like that anymore. But back in the day when I was unevolved, yes, child. I was
and
like
uninhibited.
Yes, I would be like, nah, I want a certain look.
Yeah, this is a broader conversation that I'm just not prepared to have right now. Because that's why I have different friend groups.
In the interest of time, we'll talk about my final cheater. And we can all say as a collective group that we hate Neo.
We what?
We hate Neo.
Why?
First of all.
What do you do?
Okay. This story has grown legs, I see.
First of all, the current wife that he's with, whom he is divorcing,
Crystal,
cheated on his former wife with her. He left his former wife.
He was not married to that girl.
Moneta? He's got all the kids with her. They were together. They were not in a throuple. They were not polyamorous. No, they weren't, but they were in a
committed relationship.
But Moneta has her king, so she cheated on her white king.
She figured it out.
She cheated on her white king with the knot.
Okay.
With Neo?
No. Moneta was together with Neo.
Yes.
Neo then cheated.
I know that makes
Neo then cheated on Moneta with Crystal. And now he's then cheated on Crystal with everybody.
Right.
So he has two babies on the way with a porn star.
What? Not
Girl.
Two. Twins?
No. He's already had one kid, and now he has another kid with this young lady right here.
Another Instagram thought got him in.
Instagram thought got him in. He's cheated with ladies of the night, women for hire.
City Girls up 2, apparently.
Listen, and so Crystal was like, I'm done.
So she accepted the first, and then he did it again.
And again, and it's not stopping.
He has a sexual addiction. He has a sex addiction.
But there was something going around online, like Neo is too ugly to be cheated.
And I reposted that because it's true. Looking like a whole Ninja Turtle. Ugly. No.
Which one? Leonardo, Donatello?
All of them, child. He's too ugly to be
Raphael. Take your pick.
Michelangelo.
But that was literally like a whole thread on social media. It's a whole thread.
He's too ugly.
But this is how we know that, like,
because it ain't your face.
Exactly.
That's
God.
Exactly. That's how we know that money will get you anything in life.
Anything. So anyway, he's essentially kicking sis out of their home, out of their marital home. When he married her, she did not have a job. He does not care. He's saying that because you've exposed me, I've lost contracts and this, that, and the third. And he's fighting her in court.
Yeah, I saw that he was fighting her. Now, I will say this, though.
That's disgusting to me.
It is. But Instagram. Like, why are you on Instagram? But And I like Crystal Smith. Like,
You do.
I mean, the caliber of woman that she is, obviously.
But it's difficult because it's emotional. Like your world is shattering and you're looking for an outlet. And Instagram is
talk
there.
to your therapist. Talk to
Girl,
your friends.
before
Why
you get to the therapist, you gotta hit rock bottom. You gotta hit rock bottom
But this
first, and then you get.
This
to
goes back to what
Don't do that.
This goes back to what I said, and a lot of people got angry. But what I said with cruise season, these hoes are thoughting and plotting to get your man.
Hey,
and
girl.
the reality is, you can be off of Instagram. You could have your people on your team.
And she seems like she about that life. She's sexy.
Right.
She keeps
She's
her body
beautiful.
good. Like she's very
she's beautiful.
sexual.
Yeah.
And like
you can have people on your team in your DMs. At the end of the day, like checking for your DMs. But at the end of the day, if a hoe want to thought and plot, she gonna thought and plot. And if a man wants to cheat, a man's gonna cheat.
Do what he wants to do.
And-
like you can't stop a man from doing what
And
he
I
wants to
hate
do.
that for Crystal. But I also think that like you also have to remember the old adage.
The way you got him.
The way you got him is how you lose.
It's true.
Well,
It's chicks
what
out here
goes around
seducing and
comes around.
scheming, as they say in that show, Rap-ish. So that's just kind of that I feel
I'm
like.
so shocked though. Like, why did they go through all of that? And we talked about this.
Porn
I'll
stars?
Pop off. No.
But he's fucking
I'm
porn
not talking
stars.
about the
And
porn star. I'm
prostitutes.
talking about like why did they were broken up already? They got back together. He did a whole elaborate engagement,
Yes.
a whole big ass
Yes, this
motherfucking
was
wedding
wedding.
in
This was
Vegas.
take
Like,
two. Yeah.
why? Like,
Leave her be.
leave her alone.
Just leave her.
Yeah.
If you want to be
That's
out in the streets,
narcissism,
then
though.
leave her
it's
alone.
narcissism at its finest.
Yeah.
Leave her alone. But he wanted to.
He wants to be in a polyamory relationship.
Girl, he wants to do everything but
He
his wife.
needs to
Apparently.
be
He
One.
needs to be in a polyamory
Yeah, don't
relationship.
be-
Don't be
one.
single with what's the name because Neo ain't loyal.
I
Jose
just
loyal,
cannot.
Neo
Where did you
ain't
have to
loyal.
send that story to me? Because I
I'll
did
send
not.
it
That's
to
a
you.
new one to me.
It's
I didn't.
disgusting.
I didn't know they
I
had
mean,
shared
at
a
this rate,
picture
he's
of the
fucking
porn star
stars and
show.
prostitutes.
Here she go right
Jesus,
here.
child, get an STD panel.
And that's what she was saying.
She was
like
saying-
she feels unsafe. Like he's
Yeah.
out here just doing the most, unprotected with all these women, and she's at home with the kids in their beautiful home, just like waiting for an STD to drop.
so
Ooh,
scary.
That is scary.
I hate
That's
that.
scary.
Well,
for
that's
her.
all I have for today, folks. Unless we have time for more, but if not,
Child,
Can we do one more?
one
Just
more?
one more. I'll limit my commentary, please,
Girl.
because for the 1,000, just for the 1,000.
all right, for the 1,000, here we go. Did you guys see when Ray J went off on Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner? And it finally came out.
I didn't know this was
Because
going to
Ray
be the
J
one.
has
All you
had-
want to do is
I
kiki.
didn't know
That's
that was going to be the one.
In the car, child.
I don't
Why?
know.
All you
Okay.
want to do is kiki.
All right, we can say, let's save this one because we'll save this one because I feel like.
First of all, yes, I
Oh.
saw that mess.
saw it.
And-
she's here for it,
Because
ladies
Ray
and
J-
Okay,
gentlemen.
I just have one thing to say.
She's here.
It's a little bit too late. He should have done this shit way at the beginning. The whole world would be different at this
I
point.
saw
Had he
something
done this
Oh,
Could you
yeah.
at the
imagine?
beginning, as opposed to doing it now.
Did he have a gag order? Is that what?
No,
what
but how like
I
trash?
think it would have been breach of contract, and
up.
they would have sued him, and they've got these massive lawyers. But honestly, to
But
your
early
point,
on, like I don't think they had the lawyer power.
maybe
No.
not. But he
But why
he
are
had
they still
something in
bringing
it
it
for
up?
him.
Like that's how trash they are to me. Like, why are you still bringing the situation up? You want to remove yourself from it, but it's still such
Well,
like
it
a
had
hot
to
topic
do-
in y'all's shows, y'all everyday life.
They keep
like,
bringing
why
it
are you
up.
guys rehashing this? Let that shit go.
Let it go, but they didn't, and he had enough, and he presented receipt after receipt after receipt because Ray J is sick of it. Frankly,
Disgusted.
Well,
And
keep
it's-
showing your receipts, Reggie. It's too late, but
it's
do
too
you,
late.
boo.
But it's curious to think like what the world would look like had he done it. Like, would BBL still be a huge thing? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a
what
whole
would
nother
the
topic
standard of beauty
conversation.
look like now if the Kardashians hadn't influenced it so greatly?
Standard
Think
of
about that.
It
Who
would
do you
look
think
like-
they influenced BBL?
it would
A
look like
100%. The contour and the highlight that came from Kim Kardashian.
No, I'm talking about BBL's child.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
1,000%.
Yes, that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
That started there. It became more mainstream there.
Yeah.
And
more
more accessible.
desirable. Damn.
Exactly.
agree.
Changed the whole culture.
Yeah, Ray J could have changed the world, and he chose not to.
He chose not to. Too late, Ray J.
Too late, Ray J.
It's too late, Ray
Maybe
J.
with Raycon.
No.
What's that?
That's a
Okay,
business
on
one.
that note, to all of our new followers, please follow us at Champagne Wives Podcast for new updates. And with that, we are going to sign off and say cheers. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We will see you next week. Bye.
Toodles.